Welcome everyone. Today we will look at this sketchbook of mine. I finished it quite a while ago and I will link some videos down below where I worked in this sketchbook. I thought it might be interesting. I finished this last year. As you can see here, I started it in 2020 in Paris and finished it over a year ago here in Germany. Quickly for the cover, just some stickers I actually wanted to put on my water bottle but didn't fit anymore. This is one of my favorite quotes from my childhood video game, Dragon Age Origin. And yeah, Cat the Duck. And at the back there's a tiny frog. So then, of course, I started in Paris. I did this in a cafe. I drew this with two friends of mine. So this is a friend, this is a friend, this is a friend, this is me, and this is another friend. Yeah, we were having drinks in Chez Camille. I probably have pictures of this night. I will see if I can add some. Then I went to the Louvre and drew some archaeological sculptures I really liked. Here's the Ineke I tried to draw back in the day. Such a nice memory. I loved my trip to Paris. Oh wow. I tried to put in some video footage of this. I think I filmed it back in the day. Oh man. I haven't looked at this in quite some time. Again, more sculptures from the Louvre, from the Hellenistic part of the museum. Then I drew this for a friend of a friend who let me live in her flat for a few days. And I drew this as a thank you and colored it. Again, I will see if I find the original one somewhere in my phone. Yeah, and then I didn't do anything with this for years. So I returned to it, I think in 2025, I didn't do anything with this for ages because I had some trouble getting back into art. But last year I came back more bold and, I don't know, excited than ever, and I created the most art I have in my entire life last year. This year it's a bit slow because I have so many other projects, but I'm trying to keep at it. So this is like a paper from a supermarket bag, and I painted on it with aquarelle colors. I really like how this turned out. Then I decided to return to my roots a little bit and draw a portrait with ink and the quill. Random eyes. Here I was again in Paris. This I taped over. I don't even know what's underneath it. This I drew to get back into art. So I drew one thing every day to kind of try and approach art in a less pressured way, I would say. This is also I drew with a friend. This my friend drew, and this I drew when I visited him, years ago. Oh wow. And I also drew these boats I saw on the river we were chilling at. This I drew with some charcoal I found on the riverbeds. Then this is just abstract thing. I do this today as well. Just random stuff to just get back into art. Same here. I drew one of these every day. It's just to kind of feel, just to do something. It was quite a struggle after such a long break to get back into it, and just drawing one thing a day, doesn't matter how good or bad it was, it really helped me feel less pressured. Here I was at my favorite lake in Constance and drew this one. I don't actually remember that day. I remember this one. I was in Budapest drawing stuff I saw on the paintings in the art museum there. This I was at a bar with a friend again. Same friend I was with when I drew the one from Paris. This I drew again. This is abstract thingy just to get going. I would highly recommend doing this without any pressure. It doesn't have to look any type of way. You just put paint down, and that really helps just with closing the distance between you and art, I feel, or at least it does for me. Here again, this was once a day. I just do random flowers I saw on my desk at the time. This again is one of these just draw to draw pictures. Also draw this in the museum from a painting I really liked. Here, the Denmark one you can ignore. I taped over whatever I drew there. I think this is 2025. Again, I drew one thing a day. I drew this in 2016, I think. Found it in my scraps and decided, hey, it should have a home. So I added it here. Again, decided, maybe I should come back to my roots a little bit and drew this one. And I think up here, yeah, here it starts that I don't use it as a traveling sketchbook anymore, but as my just at-home sketchbook. And I try to create more art, like, again, every day, to keep creating and finding my way back to art. And because back in the day I did a lot of collaging, I did start with that again. Oh, I lost one butterfly. Because it felt easy. It felt easy, and just, that's why it's so detailed as well. Just putting things down on the page, just, I could feel how the gap was closing more and more, and how I just got my inspiration back and my energy. That's a big thing. Also stamina, just the stamina to create art, because if you have a very long break or art block, it's not easy to start again. So these pages helped a lot to do that. I continued this. I painted in 2020, I think, and cut it out and made some collage with it. Yeah, this collaging, it's something that comes very easy to me. That's why I used it in the sketchbook a lot, because it made me feel at home in my art, you could say. I really love this one. It's like so maximalist, but I feel like it looks like I shook this flower cloud. I shook it like this, and then all of this stuff fell out of it. Really, I loved creating this page. It was so much fun to do this. I still remember it. I was so proud of it, I was so proud. I used so much different material I found in boxes and scraps I had, and just glued stuff on top of each other. It was so fun. I should do some of these pages again. I haven't done it in quite some time. This I also found in my scraps and decided, hey, you know what? Let's add it. It looks quite chaotic, but the point was not to create something, but just to create, So all of these are just to get back into the process of making things with my hands. Then I try to return to a place I feel also comfortable with, this, which is and was portraits. Also a dress design I really liked, I saw somewhere. I drew this in Denmark. As you can see, this is not chronological. Sometimes there are pages in between. Like this is from 2025 and this is from 23. So there's not really a chronological order. I saw this somewhere in Denmark on my trip and wanted to draw it. And then I went to a museum in Denmark and saw these mushrooms and wanted to note them down for future project. Here again we are back in 2025. Again, the one thing a day, just to get drawing. These are some abstract drawing exercises, also to help me reconnect with my art. Then this is also something I feel very comfortable in. I copied this from someone from Pinterest, I think, to remind me I'm okay, because sometimes I feel like, especially I think after drawing this, I was like, oh man, I don't even know how to draw. So sometimes I copy others to remind myself, oh, actually, I can draw. So that's the mindset behind this. Then I tried to start learning more about shadows and lights and values and stuff. I think that's what starts here, because I really wanted to improve my art, so I decided to work a little bit on my... First we have another very fun to touch collage, which, as I said, I really enjoy. It comes natural to me. And here it starts with my practical approach to art. Not practical, theoretical. So I learned a little bit about how to improve my technique in art, and I stopped doing that. I started again drawing for fun, but I want to go back to it eventually, because it was fun and I could feel myself improving. So this was my first ever attempt at drawing something like this. This was the second. This is an apple and a limette. Again, I put these on my table and tried to draw them behind some fabric. I think I have video material of this. I will blend it in. Here is a pepper bell. This again is this collaging thing I like doing, because this was super exhausting for me, you know, and to kind of loosen up again, I started collaging again in between. And here we have, these are onions, and this is a lemon, I think, a pear and an apple. Here I got bold and drew eggs and a mug. This is a very strange ways I drew from a tutorial. Also in this time frame, my first ever oil painting, my first and my last oil painting ever came into fruition, because I was like, oh, I'm so inspired, I want to learn oil painting. And then I did an oil painting and it was super difficult and I didn't understand it, and then I got scared and never painted again. But this year is the year I want to get back to that. Then I decided to start drawing shapes. I used a website, oh man, I forgot the name, but I will link it down below, where you can generate these images for still lifes and learn to draw them in a short time frame. Another vase. Here I try to draw something from Sargent, because I really like him and how he depicts people and his values. Again, shapes and more shapes. See, I think you can see that I'm getting better, slowly but steadily. There is some improvement. I hope you can see it too. I was very proud of this. This was a bit difficult. I tried again. I tried to draw a sculpture, a statue I liked, and trying to get the values right, but it's not. If you're self-taught as well and no one tells you how to do this or shows it to you, it's a bit hard of a trial and error to figure that out. Another block thingy. This is another Sargent. Here's another value study I did. This as well, value study. Even more of them. Another block, and I always pointed out where I fucked up. I mean, you can see the shapes, you know, so that's something. Again, more value studies. I saw a YouTube video from a person who drew a head every single day, but with my life it's so chaotic, and I also have ADHD, so I'm jumping from creative endeavor to creative endeavor, so I never, these kinds of challenges just doesn't make sense for me. But still, I tried it for some time and also tried to learn more about values. Then I drew an ear, which I really liked, and a nose, and tried to do more still life. This is my cat, Mimi. More value studies. And even more of them. I stopped doing these. I should really start again, because I could feel my eye was getting better. Maybe not my skill, but how I viewed stuff. Here, these are some ideas for a comic I made, which I sadly never photographed. These are some studies or copies. I don't know I guess it's studies from an artist I really like. From a book I adore, which is called Celtic Fairies. This again is part of the comic I drew. It's really funny. Oh, I wish I could show you the original because it turned out so beautiful. Again, ahead. These are all value studies. I hope it's even called values. I'm not even sure. See, I'm that bad when it comes to art theory. And these are all ideas for lino prints. This is, I have an owl bear in one of my D&D campaigns, and I wanted to give him a jacket so he didn't look as scary for people. So I tried to draw Poppy, that's how she's called. I tried to draw her with a jacket and some like fabric to make her less scary, because people were always afraid of her, which of course, I mean, it's an owl bear, so that does make sense. Yeah, I'm returning to just abstract work to get back into art. If you see these, usually there is a time skip because I didn't draw for some time and then I needed to close the balance, so I usually would do these. Here I drew, this is my first time trying oil pastels, which I really, is it called oil pastels? Like oil crayons, which I really enjoyed, but it was a little bit difficult to get the hang of. And then I should have put something in between, sadly. I started an abstract series, and this is when I discovered Orla Stevens, and she does a lot of abstract work. So I decided to try it out. It's actually not easy. You see abstract paintings, and you're like, oh, I could do that. But actually, it's really bad. It's really difficult to do good abstract work. So I just tried to paint the seasons in an abstract way. So this is winter, this is spring, and this is summer. I don't have autumn because then the book was empty. And here is another abstract work. I do like this. I think the colors look really nice, and I had a lot of fun drawing the seasons. Sadly the yellow spots are from spring. I should really put something in between them. I did a lot more art during this time, but I don't even know where I put all of it. But yeah, that's all. That's all the art I created. I have another 2 sketchbooks I finished in 2025. Can you imagine? I created so much art during the time. Yeah, but I hope you enjoyed this. This was a very all over the place thing, I think. Like, I'm jumping so much between different types of drawings and art, but I'm very happy. I'm glad. Looking back, this is a lot of fun. I think my favorite one is what's my favorite one? Good question. I think this one, because it was so much fun to make. And part of this, I also love this page because of I feel like the colors work really well together. And my favorite drawing, actually don't know. I think maybe I think this one, because it was so much fun to create, and I do like how she looks. She's like, her eyes are parting, which is kind of fun. But yeah, I like this one. I think it's really cute. Yeah, so that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope soon I can share with you my other sketchbooks that I also finished last year. And I will also, the next video will probably be art I created this month, which is April. And yeah, so you can see what I'm up to at the moment, which is also very exciting. I can show you my current sketchbook. This one, I started bedazzling it, which was a lot of fun, but then I ran out of glue. So, gotta buy a new one to finish the rest. But yeah, this is the one I'm doing now. I'm doing at the moment. Very fun. So if you want to see what I'm up to, yes, subscribe, because I'm sharing this every month, my progress in this. And thank you for joining me for a trip down memory lane. Bye bye!